Hey, what's going on, guys? So today I want to tell you a short story, and as a visual aid I got some silver coins here. We have some Morgan dollars on the left here. Alright, very cool. And we have some peace dollars on the right, equally as cool in my opinion. Alright, so today's topic, let's get a zoom on these, something to stare at while I'm talking, is silver as payment. Or gold, precious metals in general, but I'm specifically today talking about silver. I, in my life, once, more than once, but for one situation, have received silver as a payment for a job. Now, over the years, through different things like television programs, I've heard of other people bartering with silver or gold for work. Even here on YouTube, I believe it was maybe Yankee Stacking. I think he had a customer when he talks in the shop with his coin guy. They discuss different things with customers and stuff. I've heard of other tradesmen like plumbers or electricians that would take silver or gold as payment for their time and work. I think that's super cool. But I did in fact do that as well in the past. Now some of you viewers who watch a lot of my content remember when I worked a hot dog cart. And the person who ran that hot dog cart, my friend Harry, who's an awesome guy, we knew each other through a gun club that was local to where I used to live. And that's how we first met. There was a gun club going on. I also saw him at a couple NRA classes that I took. He was just a really nice guy, and him and his wife were fantastic. His wife was a school teacher. He worked in waste management, climbed the ladder over the years. I want to say it was in Brooklyn is where he started. I mean, he was hanging off a truck in the beginning, and in the end wearing a suit and tie, and had a nice pension and everything. Unfortunately, his wife had cancer for many, many years, and she had passed recently, which is extremely sad because she's such a wonderful woman. But this couple, I mean, they were into guns, they were into prepping, talking about, storing rice in cans and, storing batteries and flashlights and, of course, stacking. And Harry had loved silver and gold as well, and he was currently stacking. In fact, I've done a couple of trades with him before. At some point, I was buying some gold 10th-ounce rounds from him when he was looking to sell, and then vice versa. When I was selling my gold, I ended up selling 2 Eagles to him, I think, and maybe a Buffalo. But yeah, I mean, we've always had that kind of relationship. Just super, super nice guy. Much older than me, but we talk like buddies. I mean, I've had friends that were younger, friends that were older. And the area I used to live, I mean, had a lot more seniors in it, so it's just more common. But yeah, Harry's an awesome guy. He had the goal to open a hot dog cart. He had read a book about it. It was really interesting to him. He thought it'd be a good little revenue, something fun to do. It was on his little life bucket list. And so he did it. Now, in the end, it didn't work out because Harry was too nice of a guy. His prices were too cheap, number one. Well, I would say the biggest problem is having a staff. When you run a hot dog cart, you just have to run it by yourself. That's just what it is. That's why those guys make money, because they happen to get lucky with a popular spot, and there's no real overhead. They don't have a payroll. But Harry was a very, very busy guy. And he entrusted in me, and at some point, my wife, she worked a couple times at the hot dog cart with me. But mostly it was me and another woman, Patty, and a friend of Harry's who I knew. And so having a payroll like that, having to pay us money to run the cart when he wasn't there, and being so generous and giving food out to all these nice people, I mean, he had a huge heart. So there's, we worked at some point a community in the summertime with like a pool area. So we were the main, food vendor there. And there'd be some hard up people, you hear like a kid in the background, like, Mom, I want a hot dog. And she's like, we don't have money for it. And Harry's the kind of guy who'd walk over there with a tray full of food. You know what I mean? So he gave away all of his profits and also paid me. So in the end, he ended up selling the cart. It was a fun venture for him, but it wasn't really making money. So that was the end of it. I did that for, I want to say like 6 months, 8 months, something like that. And it was really fun. It really, really was. But the point of the video is that Harry, at some point, he was low on cash, and he offered to pay with silver. That was it. It was just a simple thing. Hey, I don't have cash on me, but I got silver. I stack. You want silver in payment? Hell yeah. So he just went by spot price for generic silver. And he also hooked up my wife as well when she worked. and I got paid in silver, and I was totally fine with that. It was awesome. And I kept a lot of that silver for a very long time. I still have just a very little bit of it, just because it's kind of sentimental to me. But most of it was, you know, sold off when I sold a lot of my silver recently. But it was exciting. It was really cool. And like most people would be like, that's crazy. I mean, generally speaking, when you have a job, you have to pay your bills with the job for your money. This was an extra job. So, you know, obviously if I relied on this for bills, I would accept the silver, immediately sell it for cash, and then use the cash to pay the bills. But in this unique situation, it was an extra job. You know, most of my adult life, when I've been working, I'm trying to do side hustles. I'm trying to make more money. And depending on what my job is, I may not make enough for my bills. So those side hustles, they all come together to make ends meet. You know, in this particular case, at that time, I had money, so it was fine. It was extra. So I was able to keep those payments as silver and hang on to that value. Had I got paid with money, I would have just spent it on something and would have been gone. But I thought it was an interesting experience that I had in my life where I got paid in silver. So I'm curious, anyone out there watching the video ever been paid in silver or paid in gold? You know, like I said, I think it's a little more common with tradesmen and maybe different parts of the country where there's like-minded people, where everyone's kind of stacking or knows a lot of people who do stack. And again, maybe you're hard on cash, but you know, silver rich and cash poor. So hey, I don't have any money to give you right now, but I do have a gold piece, or I do have a, you know, bag of silver. So it's just interesting. I'm sure people barter for all kinds of stuff. You know what's happening, right? There might be an electrician who did a job for someone, and they're like, you know, obviously agreeing beforehand. It's not like, hey, I can't pay you. Can you take this? That would be rude. You'd have to discuss this before the services were done. But I'm sure at some point someone had a cool classic car in the driveway, and the guy had no money but needed a deck done, you know, or a roof redone, and someone said, hey, you know, you're selling that car. I'll do your roof for that car. You know, I'm sure that's happened. So there's probably some really cool, wild stories for bartering for services. You know, it's not something you have to wait for the apocalypse to do. You could do it right now. You know, you have something someone wants, and they have something you want. You can make it work. It's not always about money. So I just thought it was a cool little story to tell. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. And that's pretty much it. I hope you guys have a fantastic day. Looking forward to the comments. Again, anyone who has any experience with this or stories about it, I'd love to hear it. So that's all. Have a great day, guys. I'll see you tomorrow with a brand new video. Take care.